Tonight on the podcast, Lizzo sees how many $3.99 banana split sundaes she can get Lance to eat out of a hooker's vagina in Amsterdam.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started, a life is a dream.
It is Friday night in Phoenix, and you're locked into the most consistent fucking podcast in all of the land. The Absolute Geek Podcast. I'm Matt.
I am Lance.
And
I'm Brucifer.
yes, welcome our special guest tonight, Brucifer. If you watch us over on SNS, you know Brucifer very, very well. He's not gracing us with his handsome face tonight.
Yeah, my real equipment is somewhere else. Ugh.
What's up, Patrick? How's it going? I'm sure you're waiting around for the hot 10 to start. Yeah, so consistent. It's so consistent it hurts.
The hot 10, what is that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's all about the simmering 10.
Hmm.
Simmer it, baby.
I like a nice slow burn 10.
Yeah. The kind that burns when you pee.
Ah, that's only from hookers and on the west side.
On the west side.
On the west side of many places, it sounds
Yeah, the west side of any city.
like. Sick and hookers on the west side. It's been a minute, Lance. What's been going on?
I know, man. I know it's been a couple weeks, hasn't it, since we've been on?
Yes. So tell everyone about your fucking first trip to San Diego.
It was fucking awesome. With the writer's strike and the actor's strike, I think it was a dialed down experience from what you've told me, Matt. Like when all the actors and everybody are there, it's like a freaking frenzy, is what you were saying. But it's definitely, dude, it's eye-opening when you go to these other cons and then you go to San Diego. It's eye-opening how much more effort is put into it and how much more I mean, they had a fucking Good Burger in the middle of the expo floor.
What?
Like a full servicing burger joint in the middle of the expo floor, dressed up to look like Good Burger and everything. It was fucking incredible, dude. That was, if you call yourself a nerd, dude, you have to go to San Diego Comic-Con at least once. It's incredible.
Now you're going to be hit with the curse of when you walk in and you're like, you walk into these smaller conventions, you're going to be like, what the fuck am I doing here? What am I doing here?
I hadn't even been to San Diego yet. And because I was with you, the last time I went to a convention, how dissatisfied I was. I mean, I bought 2 or 3 day pass and I only went one day.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, well, it just was boring, dude. Like the level of fan that attends these 2 different shows, there's a different level of fan, I think. Like I go to San Diego, you're standing in line with people and they're all, first of all, there's lines for shit. There's never lines for anything at our local con. But you're standing in line and you're geeking out over the same stuff and you're meeting people and having conversations. And in Phoenix, dude, it's just, I don't know. Everybody's like in their own little world, I guess.
Bruce, have you been to New York Comic Con?
Yeah, I've been every year from 2000 all the way to right before the pandemic. So
have they brought it back yet?
Oh yeah, it came back.
Okay.
But I haven't been since they reopened everything. So I actually moved out of the city, so I haven't been back down for a con in years. So
You're not going this year?
nah. It's like $90 a ticket or something.
Oh, that's
cheap.
better. That's better than San Diego.
How much was San Diego?
For all weekend for San Diego, it was $300 for like all 4 days plus preview night. 350 bucks.
Wow.
That's not including hotel and all that.
That's crazy. It's funny. I went to a local con where I am now, upstate New York, and there's probably like 35 vendors, and everything was overpriced. And then it seemed like every vendor was like, you shouldn't buy these comic books because they're woke. I'm like, what the fuck? You're trying to sell books. What are you doing? Like, why are you talk about politics if you're trying to sell books?
I wonder, dude, like it seems like a lot of these comic book store owners are crusty old white men
Yes.
that would say shit like, don't buy this book because it's woke.
Yes. It's like the first time I went to the one comic book store the next comic book store near me is like 40 miles away.
Yeah.
And this guy goes, hey guys. Oh, I don't know if I can say guys. Is that your gender name or whatever?
Your
I don't know. I
pronoun.
don't want to get in trouble. I'm like, what the fuck?
And they're not saying that because they're concerned about getting in trouble. They're saying that for the shock value of saying, I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble.
Yeah, and then this guy, his comic books are like the worst. They have no backing boards. The bags are dirty. It's like, ugh.
Well, see, he doesn't care about his books. Why would he care about people?
Yeah, true. He makes his money off the nerds that are playing cards in the back.
Bags and boards are so overrated.
Dope.
You just throw them. You just gotta throw them loose in your box, man, and call it a day.
That's the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce, did you tell Matt don't before he started speaking?
Yeah, I went, don't.
Don't go there, Matt.
No, there has to be bags and boards. What are you saying? The new collectors will actually listen to you.
You heathens.
They paid $300 for this freaking ratio, and now it's sitting on a desk somewhere with no bag and board because of Matt.
That's the best when you go to like a flea market or something. You find these guys are like or pawn shop or thrift store or anything, and they're like comics, and you go and they're all unbagged and board and just shoved to the brims and boxes, and you're like, oh my god, not even a press is gonna save this.
There's like 4 inches of dust.
Yeah,
Nobody's touched them in years.
there's some other weird substances on there, and you're like,
I went
why does it smell funny?
A couple of weeks ago. I went to like a local a garage sale, and the description said comics. I get there's one Death of Superman comic. I'm like, what the fuck?
Because everyone's got to have one.
Yes,
even the non-collectors have one.
It's true. They're waiting for that book to hit high so they can retire.
Like everybody that bought what did JP buy? Blue Beetle comics.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I can't. I mean, I have very low sympathy for these fucking flippers, man, that just try to buy a comic based on speculation.
I think the worst type of flipper is flippers that don't collect comics and they don't read comics and they just go into comic book groups just to see what's hot and then buy them all up and sell them.
I know somebody like that.
Oh, really?
He has a podcast that stole part of our name.
Interesting.
Yeah, they don't read them or anything.
Yeah, I've never met a guy who openly says, "Oh, I don't read comics. I just collect them." And he tries to collect all the rare and like big key issues. But I guess to each their own. Collect how you want.
Yeah.
But it's like, why would you start collecting if you don't read? I don't know.
Exactly. It's just like I'm in like multiple Discord groups and it's always, oh, DC comics are shit. Their writing is shit. When's the last time you read a book? 1995. What?
Yeah,
oh, but they have killer covers. I'm like, open the book. Maybe you'll learn something.
See, I just wait for Matt to say, "Hey, you should read this book," and then I go read it.
I like you already, Lance. I like you already.
Yeah, I'm not shy about it, dude. Like I like comics, but I'm not a big reader. And Matt says, "Hey, man, I read this book. It's great. I think you'll like it." And then I go read it.
at least you make the effort of reading.
Oh yeah. Like if it like Rogue or not Rogue, Last Ronin.
Mhm.
I've read that like 3 times already.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I love that book. But I usually wait till like the trade paperback comes out or something. If it's a series that Matt or somebody else I know says I like, and then I'll go pick it up and read it all in one shot. I'm not this weekly,
Wednesday
comic
warrior.
Yeah, I'm not like that, dude. I can't. I've got enough going on to fucking keep up with that shit.
I got stacks of books going back months I have to organize. It gets to be too much. You're like staring at the pile like, where do I start? Where do I start?
I'm in that phase right now in my collecting where like I don't necessarily want to read, and I just buy them because I don't want to be without it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh man, I don't want to miss an issue in my run, so I'm just gonna buy this, and it's gonna sit in my desk until I put it in a box.
That's
Like
what I feel about the latest run of Amazing Spider-Man.
I have my books from this week still in a bag. Haven't even taken them out yet. Which, speaking of Amazing Spider-Man, boom.
I feel like Matt's in the stage of his comic books that I'm in with video games. Like a video game will get announced, I get really excited about it. I buy it on the day it comes out. I play it for 10 minutes and then I put it down and forget to play it again. Like I still haven't beat. I just pulled this one out the other day with an intent to play it, and I still haven't.
Jedi Survivor.
Yeah,
nice.
I only pulled this out because I had to load this one into my PlayStation that I bought in San Diego and took it out of the cellophane yesterday, and still haven't played it. Jay and Silent Bob
roll.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's one of those 420 limited runs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm guilty of waiting for Black Friday, going to GameStop, buying all these games, and they're still sitting there in packages. I haven't opened them.
Dude, look at this, man. NBA 2K23 that came out last year. It's in the fucking cellophane.
That's awesome.
I've had it sitting on my desk for almost a year now.
Wow.
But I only bought it because of this guy on the front.
Devin Booker.
Yeah.
But see, they announced the studio that's doing the last Ronin game.
What studio is it?
It's being produced by THQ Nordic.
THQ's not bad, right?
They're the company that did like Destroy All Humans. Some of those ones, I was kind of hoping for a bigger publisher, like Sledgehammer, not necessarily Sledgehammer, but
like Insomniac or something.
Yeah, not even really Insomniac. Sucker Punch that did like Ghost of Tsushima.
Oof. That would have been sweet.
Studios like that. It's going to be interesting to see what THQ Nordic brings to the table as far as this game goes, because I mean it's been pushed as it's going to be this God of War-esque game, and it's kind of like THQ Nordic is really like known for doing more cartoony type stuff, and
like, Destroy All Humans was the thing I was thinking of.
But they do have a lot of really solid games too that kind of have me hopeful. Like they did Darksiders, which is a good game, and so they've
this
had
Remnant game looks good. Like the way it looks is what I'm saying. I have no idea if it looks like a good game, but it looks like more of that God of War style art.
So they got a teaser for it. They released a teaser for it today, which isn't anything special. It's just 4 candles. Then you see different backgrounds as each one of the candles blows out. So except for one, and then it pops up on the screen. It says Last Ronin.
Hmm.
So,
But they
it'd be
haven't really
interesting to see how
had
it goes.
anything like. They haven't really had any like big box office titles. Like I'm looking, one of the games they have on their website is Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Yeah, so it got like SpongeBob, Bikini Bottom. It's a lot of really more cartoony type stuff versus what God of War, the type game the God of War is. So
Darksiders is a big game. They did
Yes,
that
it
one
is.
apparently.
Mm-hmm. So, like I said, I wish it would have been like Sucker Punch or something like that, like a big, well-known studio for these action RPG-based games. But
They do all the motocross versus ATV games, it looks like.
Yeah. They did the AEW game.
They did do the Fight Forever game, yeah.
They did Quantum Break, which was a beautiful game. I didn't like it that much, but like visually it was very, very good looking. That's the one with one of the twins from Smallville. What's his name? He was in Animorphs. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Dude, I haven't seen Animorphs since I was probably like 12.
Oh, what the fuck is his name? He plays Jimmy Olsen in Smallville, or one of them does. And he's Iceman in X-Men movies.
Crap. He was in The Following.
Val Kilmer.
No.
He was in The Following, and he was. Where is he now? I just saw him recently. I forgot his name. Actually, let me look it up.
Yeah,
it's
Val
one of them.
Kilmer
I'm
is
not
Iceman.
sure. No, not in Top Gun. Aaron Ashmore.
There's more than one Iceman? Because I only reference Val Kilmer as I think.
Sean and Aaron, right? Sean and Aaron.
Ashmore.
Yeah.
So it's like a motion capture game. It was a big deal when it came out, but I think.
Oh yeah, flopped. Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
It was a very beautiful game, like visually. I wasn't that into it, so I didn't play it that much. But
they did Halo Wars 2. Huh?
They did Halo Wars.
Yeah, part 2.
Jesus, IMDb doesn't even give him a credit for X-Men on it.
Well, there's Sean Ashmore and Aaron Ashmore.
Yeah, Sean did X-Men.
Yeah, he doesn't even get a credit. There it is. Way down there. Way down there.
Like it's scary how much they look alike. Like same hairstyle, same fucking facial hair.
Maybe they are the same person.
Well, they're twins, so obviously identical twins, they look alike. But you know, when you're late 40s or however old they are, you would think like one of them might be more overweight than the other, or one of them, you know, might have a scar on their face or something. No, you can't tell these two apart. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean,
a show called Quantum Break.
They've got some decent games on here. It's just it's interesting that that's the studio that they would choose. And doesn't Nickelodeon have their own in-house video game developer?
I don't know.
Don't know.
I mean, maybe not if they did the Bikini Bottom game.
I don't think so. I don't know. But all right, you want to get into a little bit of geek news?
Yeah, let's do it.
Geek news.
Damn it! I thought the one on SNS was on. Jeez.
I lost my hearing for like 3 seconds.
Shit, man. I'm telling you. All right, so we're gonna do geek news a little bit different. Sam said, "Shout out to Lance's Funkos." Gonna do something a little bit different this week. Since we've had our hiatus and coming back, we're going to try and do geek news. Each segment is going to get a 5-minute time limit up in the upper corner of the screen where our new flipping, rotating active logo is. Pretty sweet. Lance did a good job on that. Gonna have a 5-minute timer that's going to count down the time we have for each segment. Once the 5-minute timer is up, that is it. All conversation is kaput, and we move on.
I mean, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
At 5 minutes.
Bitch, move on.
Lucifer is the cranberry juice of podcasts.
And before you guys start saying it, we came up with this concept. We did not steal it from anyone.
Oof.
Damn.
The limited. No,
Shots
I'm just kidding.
fired.
Matt and I are big sports fans, so we said let's just rip off Pardon the Interruption.
Nice.
Pretty much. All right, what do we got, Lance?
All right, so first up, you got the timer on?
Nah, I'll start it when we're ready.
All right, Spider-Man No Way Home. Director John Watts clarifies No Way Home is actually an origin story. Many fans suspected Spider-Man No Way Home was envisioned as the real origin story for Tom Holland's Peter Parker, and director John Watts has now confirmed that those assumptions are correct. Per the direct, citing an entry in Spider-Man No Way Home, The Art of the Movie, the filmmaker explained that while both Homecoming and Far From Home served as fun chapters in the life of Marvel Cinematic Universe's Spidey, the threequel is really where he becomes a titular hero. I've never been able to say that word. When we were doing Homecoming, the discussions were always about how we do something you haven't seen before with Peter Parker. Watts said that steers you down a couple of different paths and leads you to doing things like having his best friend found out his identity and having his aunt find out. And then at the end of the last movie, having the whole world find out. Not really, because it erased it all at the end.
Yes.
So it was all for naught.
So 5 minutes on the clock. What are your thoughts on this news? Is it really news? Like, to me, does this kind of tell you a little bit that maybe Marvel Studios doesn't even know how to handle Spider-Man? Why would you do you take away the foundation of what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man? So what? You're telling me that the MCU Spider-Man just got bit by a spider and was like, you know what? I'm just gonna be a hero. I'm just gonna wear blue spandex or actually it was a red hoodie. I'm just gonna throw on a hoodie and fight crime just because I got bit by this spider. Like, there's no catalyst there for him to become Spider-Man. The whole Uncle Ben thing is like his catalyst. And so you're going to tell me that up until this point, he didn't have that moment? Up until the death of Aunt May, he didn't have that moment in the MCU?
Well, Bruce, I'll let you go first since you're your first time on the podcast. You get to go.
Cool. It's just weird that they have his motivation happening in the third movie. It's just like, wait, what? You know, what reason that made him get out of bed every morning to protect the city, to want to be a hero? It makes no sense to me. I think they're backtracking because people didn't like the first two movies as much. That's just my take. And for the record, I'm not a big fan of Tom Holland as Spider-Man.
Holy shit! You do exist.
Yes, it's me.
They do exist.
The unicorn over here.
You know, I think what we've been saying since we've seen the Homecoming is that it was my assumption that we all believe that something happened off camera with Uncle Ben, right?
Yes.
Aunt May, they're living in that shitty apartment. Like, so I think he had that catalyst moment. It's just Marvel opted for us not to see it again because we'd already seen it twice before. And then, yeah, Aunt May, you could call that a catalyst event, but wouldn't Tony's death be more of a catalyst event even prior to that? I mean, I think he's had many events that make him the hero that he is, right? Deaths in his life or whatever, but I don't know. I mean,
but what was his motivation to be
news.
Spider-Man in the first movie? Why was he Spider-Maning when Tony went to find him to go to overseas to fight Captain America on a tarmac?
I think it was more
Spider-Man then.
I think because if you remember from the first movie, I mean, all he was doing was, rescuing people that were getting their like bicycles stolen and stuff like that. He was just your friendly neighborhood, small petty crime Spider-Man. And I think that his motivation is he was just raised correctly. I don't know. I don't know if you need more motivation than that. Like, you have superpowers, you either turn one way or you turn another.
Sam says to impress the Avengers.
I think that's what really he felt enamored, but by the fact that Tony Stark is coming at his door asking him for help. He was always enamored by Tony Stark from the minute the guy stepped on his front door, or his front at his front door. I don't know. I don't know if you need much more motivation than that. And Bruce, to your comment about Tom Holland,
yes,
here's my take on that, and this is what I tell people all the time. Tobey Maguire was an excellent Peter Parker. Andrew Garfield was an excellent Spider-Man. Tom Holland is a good Peter Parker and a good Spider-Man. I think Tobey Maguire never had the Spider-Man part down. I think Andrew Garfield never had the Peter Parker part down. But the parts that they did have down, they did it tremendously well. Tom Holland does both pretty well. Does that make sense? He doesn't blow either of them away in those respective parts. He just blows them both. He doesn't blow either of them away in those respective parts, but it is a good duality between the two characters. It kind of brings me back to Batman. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, my thing with Tom Holland is going forward. How much can you actually do with him looking so young?
I told Matt to pick a good sound to notify the timer's over, and he chose very. Oh my gosh! What did I tell you, Matt? I said find something that has to do like with our like geek or nerd, like an explosion or something like that, and he picks that.
Of course he picks that.
I mean, in all intents and purposes, I didn't pick anything. It's what's already programmed in the board. I just was like, I'll just go with this one. But go ahead, Bruce. Finish your thought, and then we'll move on.
No, it's fine. You can move on.
Oh, I want to hear your thought.
Well, for me, I think that Andrew Garfield was excellent as both Peter and Spider-Man. I think that Tom Holland playing. If they try to move Spider-Man, Peter Parker into like a adulthood, late 20s, he still looks like he's 15. Who's gonna believe that he's a dad?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the actor himself's like 28 or something like that, isn't he? I don't know. I think Andrew Garfield played a good Peter Parker for what they wrote him. It's just not my vision of Peter Parker. A skateboard kid. Like
edgelord.
Maybe because I'm surrounded by edgelords.
I know. I feel that too.
I don't understand that reference.
I just feel like
it's a bathhouse reference. Sorry.
But yeah, I don't know. Let's move on.
All right. Oh shit.
Oh. Are you doing the timer? Or are you doing the fucking slides,
go, I won't do anything. I'll let you do it all. Go ahead. I'll do the timer. I'll stay in my lane.
All right. Barbie, the movie. Bill Maher calls the Barbie movie man-hating after its $1 billion success. Maher wrote a screed. The fuck is a screed? About Barbie on X/Twitter after watching the critically acclaimed fantasy comedy, believing its main purpose is fighting against patriarchy. Additionally, Mars insisted the film isn't lining up with today's reality and its message is better suited for an earlier time. I was hoping it wouldn't be preachy, man-hating, or zombie lie. Alas, I was all three. Mar tweeted, "What is a zombie lie? Something that never was true, but certain people refuse to stop saying it. Tax cuts for the rich increase revenues, etc. or something that used to be true but no longer is. But certain people pretend it's still true. Barbie is this kind of zombie lie.
All right, Bruce, I'll let you kick it off on this one because I know you liked Barbie.
Yes.
What do you think about these comments?
I just think Bill Maher is just making comments because he's not relevant anymore. And I saw some more of his tweets about man hating and blah blah blah. It's actually a very smart take on both sexes being crapped on. And I just don't think he actually got what the writer was going for with this movie. Barbie's actually the villain of the movie.
Matt
and by
said that to me earlier today.
Huh?
Matt said that to me earlier today, and I'd like to hear your guys's why you guys feel that way.
Well, I feel that way because the way they treated the Kens, and the Kens had no right. They were pretty much ignored. They didn't care where they went at night. They didn't even knew where the Kens lived. It's just
true.
so awkward and weird.
The Kens had no purpose other than to beach.
Yes, we could beach each other off.
Yeah, beat you off right here.
We beach up all the time.
Yeah, I say it just because they really hone in on the negative effects Barbies have on girls and how they have to like look a certain way and how they have to meet and match that ideal of the perfect woman that Barbie is and that Barbie created. And instead of just being the everyday woman, there's that ideal that you have to be perfection, and nobody ever is going to be perfection. And that's kind of what Barbie represented. But I did kind of get that feeling, like Sam and I were talking in a group chat, and I was like, there's just something about movies for women by women directors that just make men look absolutely like idiots. And there's movies by men directors that do the same thing to women. So I don't understand why we can't get a movie that perfectly represents both genders and empowers them without making the other one look like a complete idiot.
You don't think the Kens were empowered by the end of the movie?
Not really. I think they looked like bumbling idiots the entire movie.
The
only one I think that was empowered was Alan. Everyone else, like Alan was my favorite character in the whole movie. Everyone else, I feel like, as far as the Kens go, were bumbling and babbling idiots.
I agree with Bruce. Like, I felt like the end of the movie was a redemption for the Kens. That's kind of why. So when this movie was announced and it was kind of trickling out what it was going to be about, I was really worried it was going to be another angry feminist movie. And I told this to Matt earlier when we were talking. It's not an angry feminist movie. It's a feminist movie, but it's not. I don't see the anger part of it. You know what I mean? Like Captain Marvel to me was an angry feminist movie. Let's make this woman so strong that nobody can beat her because women empowerment. No, that's not what we want in a superhero movie. You know what I mean? Like, we want our superheroes to have flaws, whether a man or a woman. They went so over the top with the empowerment thing, and that all men suck, essentially. I didn't get that vibe with this movie. I laughed my ass off in Barbie.
Yeah, it was hilarious for me.
I thought it was hysterical. And I thought it gave a good message to I took my daughter and my two nieces to go see it with my wife. And I thought it taught my daughter important lessons, like don't let a man define you. And at the same point, it also teaches men, don't let your partner define you either. I feel like the same message that was said for the women was also true for the men, right?
Yes.
And
yeah, because Ken realized he doesn't have to be in the shadow of Barbie. He doesn't need her to be who he is. That's what I got at the end of the movie myself.
But okay, at the end of it, who is he though?
He's Ken.
He's Ken.
Okay, so how is it any different than where he was at the beginning of the movie?
Because in the beginning of the movie, Ken's pining after Barbie, and he realizes he doesn't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, he had this imaginary relationship that wasn't there, and by the end of the movie, he realized I'm
At the
just
end of it,
Ken.
he's
I'm
still
not
pining
Barbie
about
and
Barbie,
Ken.
though.
Huh?
At the end of it, he's still pining after Barbie, though.
You thought so?
Yeah.
I didn't get that vibe.
I didn't get that.
I thought it. Yeah, I don't know. All right, next.
I love this timer.
Blue Beetle. 27 Latino organizations team up to promote Blue Beetle during the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes. As reported by Variety, 27 Hollywood-based Latino groups recently signed an open letter calling on the wider Latino community to step in for Blue Beetle's striking writers and cast and promote the film on social media. We invite you to join us in our effort to amplify. I was just reading her quote.
The beautiful Aaron says, in the beginning, he's Barbie and Ken, and his validation comes from Barbie instead of himself.
So amplify the work that countless Latino artists have worked so hard to create. The letter reads, in part, it's important that we show up for them at a time when they are not able to promote their projects. Organizations that have signed the letter include the Congressional Hispanic Caucus Institute, LA Collab, Latino Film Institute, National Association of Latino Independent Producers, and the National Hispanic Media Coalition. I'll start since you guys both got a opportunity to start. So, being my family's from Argentina, I'm Latino. I've never
points for that.
I've never felt in any way, shape, or form that Latino film projects or TV projects had trouble being created, especially nowadays when I mean, one of the hot movies this year is the Flamin' Cheetos movie that was
Flamin' Hot,
and Acapulco on Apple TV. And like, I don't understand the need for this.
Narcos
or the spinoff for the motorcycle one. What's that called?
Mayans.
Yeah. The only reason I see any of this like coming to fruition is because they're nervous the movie's going to fail, because The Flash did, Black Adam did, Aquaman most likely is going to, and by the same token, Blue Beetle is probably going to fail, and they're trying to drum up some sort of passion for this thing just because it has Latinos in it, and I don't think I think if it's a bad movie, it's okay to call it a bad movie.
I think it's more so that it's the first time you're seeing a Latino lead in a superhero movie. Like, really, like the character is Latino, proud Latino heritage. You've got a whole Latino cast. George Lopez is in it, for God's sakes. You know, it's the first time that they can really get behind this culture in the lead in a movie, and a superhero movie. And that's kind of why they're stepping in and saying, look, let's support our Latino heritage and pride, because you've got Black Adam, you've got, there's all different races and nationalities and stuff that have been these DC heroes and Marvel heroes for that matter. But this is the first time you're really getting that Latino born and bred hero on the big screen. And they're just stepping out to support their heritage, man. And they're proud to see that they've got a good Latino role model.
But is it the first
big
time?
Screen?
Because I don't think it is.
Who
America Chavez was Latino. She's the main character of Doctor Strange.
She wasn't the lead.
She's not a lead, though.
No, she wasn't the lead. She was the
She's supporting.
And, and also
Benedict Cumbersnatch.
Well, then you got Moon Knight.
He played he played a Jewish character.
No, but he is Latino.
I think what Matt's trying to say is that a Latino actor playing a Latino superhero in the lead as in the movie,
where the lead character is actually a Latino character.
And I also think this is being done because the cast can't promote this movie. They can't put a big red carpet event to. The only reason that the projections have went up is because they've been playing this trailer nonstop in front of Barbie. Also,
Well, and now in front of Ninja Turtles too.
Yeah. And I'm a huge Blue Beetle fan.
Yeah.
I have pretty much all his appearances, all the series he's done. I loved him in Young Justice, on Brave and the Bold cartoon. Jaime is just a fun character trying to just make it in daily life and not be taken over by the Scarab.
Yeah.
And the last series, the last limited series, Graduation Day, was amazing. He came into his own with the help of Wonder Woman and Batman. Even Batman doesn't trust him, but that's Batman. But I think this is a good thing for this movie.
This movie comes out next week. Are you excited? Are you going to be there and see it opening night? Are you excited for it? Do you plan on seeing it at all?
Day one.
Day one, Brucifer said, with sweatpants on.
I've been waiting a long
To
time
give
for
more
this
breathing
movie.
room.
It looks good. It looks good, but I was excited about seeing the Flash too.
You didn't like the Flash?
I like the Flash. I didn't love the Flash. I feel like DC, like right now, they're kind of pigeonholing this movie as the start of James Gunn's universe.
I don't think that's. I think.
And now they've kind of walked that back now.
Oh, did they?
Blue Beetle is part of the DCU. The movie is not in the DCU.
Right.
Because I believe it takes place before the Flash. That's what I'm guessing. I could be wrong.
Well, James Gunn had come out and said that it was like the start of his universe, but
and then he walked it back, saying that Blue Beetle will be part of the overarching DC universe. The character will be, but the movie does not necessarily fit that timeline.
I see.
I really gotta pick a better transition sound. Oh man!
Oh no! Every time I hear that, I think of My Little Ponies for some reason.
Yeah.
I will say this:
it was perfect for the Barbie one.
My one last thought on this is that I'm excited to see it because right now the trailers give it too many like Spider-Man Homecoming or Iron Man 1 vibes. I'm excited to see if and how it separates itself from that stereotype.
If it does
on the big screen, if it's able to.
I worry that everything they've shown us in the trailer is like, have you seen movies that show you like the trailer and all the best parts are in the trailer?
Yes.
Well, I seen all the positive reviews today, previews, reactions.
Yes, but The Flash also got really positive reviews.
Yeah.
It's calling it the best superhero movie ever made.
Well, the audience score for it actually matched that. It was in the high 80s.
Compared to 80s, but
I like The Flash a lot.
I liked The Flash, but it has its issues, right? But the high 80s, I mean, doesn't make it the best superhero ever made. I think Endgame is like a 98 or something.
Well, I think that's subjective. My favorite, the greatest comic book movie for me is Shazam.
Yeah, Matt hated that one. I liked it.
I think Endgame was overrated.
Stephen King said that. Tom Cruise said that.
Dude, Lucifer really knows how to just gut punch you.
But to be fair, Tom Cruise said that about every movie that's been released ever since.
He just said
coming out.
He just said Endgame was overrated.
Who said that?
Brucifer just did.
I think he said it when I was reading that comment from Joe's Doolin. I must have missed it. Endgame. I wouldn't say Endgame's the best superhero movie ever made. I liked it.
I would.
My favorite superhero movie still is Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire.
I love that movie.
Mine too.
Spider-Man 2, and then Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and Shazam. Shazam's pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
my only problem with the Tobey Maguire, my major problem with the Tobey Maguire ones, minus the third one, is just how you watch Kirsten Dunst basically deteriorate.
Yeah. Honestly, right now, I would say the best superhero movie I've ever seen is that latest Spider-Verse movie. That thing's fucking phenomenal.
Blank Man is the best superhero movie.
How about Orgasmo?
There you go. There you
uh,
go.
Screw that. Mystery Men.
There you
Mystery
go.
Men's pretty damn good, dude.
It
And
is?
rest in peace to the late Paul Rubens. He's in that
Right.
movie, isn't he?
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Was that pre or post movie theater jacking off?
That was post. That was like
Hmm.
his big return, I'm pretty sure.
Pootie Tang. Yes.
Oh God.
What's the one with one of the older Wayans brother?
What was the one? I forgot. Damn it.
We all know that it's Hitchcock, all right? Or Hancock. Sorry.
No, that's
Hey,
Will
I
Smith.
liked Hancock, dude.
Huh.
I think I'm in the minority on that one, but
I liked Hancock.
I just thought it was a really unique idea. The other one that I think I'm in the minority on that I thought was a good idea was the Chronicle.
I
The
love
found footage.
Chronicle.
The found footage one. Well, see, maybe I'm not in the minority.
No, yeah, I loved Chronicle.
I'm in the minority saying that League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is a great film. So
It is. a
I
great film.
didn't
Oh,
like that one
wow.
very much. But I also watched it when it came out.
Mhm.
So I don't know if I remember it.
Let's just be honest. The best superhero movie of all time is Super, the Rainn Wilson movie.
Dude, that movie is good with what's her name now? His name? Elliot Page.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is really good.
Which makes it real awkward because doesn't she like try to bone him out in that movie?
Does she?
I'm pretty sure she does. I think that's a James Gunn movie too.
Mm-hmm.
One of those dark, off the cuff movie. I forgot.
I also
Liv
thought the
Tyler was
first
even in that movie.
Kick-Ass. Yeah, so Paul Rubens was arrested for indecent exposure in an adult theater in 1991. Mystery Men was made in 1999.
And then in 2000, was it 2000? He was arrested again for allegedly possession of child pornography, which turned out to be
False.
art.
Yeah,
Damn it.
it was like erotic art, like paintings and stuff.
Yeah.
And like coffee table book, I think was one of them. But they wanted to get this dude on something. He's kind of like Michael Jackson. Like people wanted Michael Jackson to be guilty, and so they tried to bust the guy for whatever they could.
You're saying he wasn't?
I don't believe he was. No. I think even Corey Feldman has come out and said that's the one guy that's not guilty.
Listen, we saw Corey Feldman at SDCC. All right, we saw how rough
Macaulay Culkin.
Corey Feldman's doing.
Macaulay Culkin looks rough too.
Yeah, but Macaulay Culkin's.
But a lot of
hot
these
chicks, so.
a lot of these child actors that spent a lot of time with Michael J. Fox have said, he's the one guy. He was trying to protect us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe the dude was guilty.
Goes doing said no, not really like Michael Jackson. Didn't have a theme park at home and sleepovers with kids. No, he just had a playhouse.
I think
where Lawrence Fishburne stopped by to be a cowboy.
I think it's really easy to make comments like that,
Mhm.
but I think what we fail to consider is Michael Jackson's childhood was stolen from him, and we don't know what that's like, right? We don't, and he was perpetually trying to maintain that childlike. I think that was his issue. He had deep emotional issues and psychological issues, but as far as touching kids and being inappropriate with kids, I don't think that happened.
All right, well, we're just gonna go ahead and
now R. Kelly.
Transition on that note.
Now R. Kelly was
R. Kelly's a creep.
I remember in the 90s, people were actually selling that tape on corners in the city, and people were buying them up like crazy.
Was he peeing on kids or were they adult women?
It was kids.
It was like a 16-year-old girl.
Was it kids?
Yes.
So they were selling child pornography on the streets in New York?
Yes.
That's insane.
It was called the R. Kelly sex tape.
You're from Arizona when a comment like that surprises you, I guess. All right, next. So this is the flash round. So So we got 5 or 6 headlines that we're going to spend a minute each on, no more than a minute. Matt, you're on the timer, right?
Yep.
So as soon as I'm done reading the headlines, as soon as I'm done reading the headlines, start that timer, okay? First up, Sonic the Hedgehog and Paddington threequels will shoot without SAG-AFTRA actors. Go.
This is interesting because it's just going to be a bunch of backgrounds with like cameras swooping all over the place, and they're going to digitally place it in. I'm not really sure how that's going to work, but I guess whatever it takes to stay on schedule, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
I guess AI will be doing the whole thing. That's all I got.
And I hear Paddington 2 was delightful. People say it's the best movie ever, but I've never watched it.
I took my kids to see Paddington 1 in the theater, and I liked it, but I've never seen Paddington 2.
I've never seen any of these.
Well, the Paddington thing is a big.
You haven't seen Sonic the Hedgehog yet?
Nope.
Oh, Sonic the Hedgehog's great, but Paddington is a big joke in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Nick Cage sits down to watch Paddington. It's one of the funnier parts of the movie.
Yeah, he cries.
All right, next up, we've got Madam Web star Sydney Sweeney teases a different kind of superhero movie.
Why do we care about this? Does Sony really need a different kind of superhero movie when you've got Kraven, who is clearly bitten by a radioactive lion and gives him superpowers? Sony's just way out of touch on these characters.
Yeah,
maybe for the first time they're gonna have a story-driven superhero movie.
No, I think they got Sydney Sweeney because you can just sit there and gawk at how big her boobs are versus how bad the movie is.
I think it's gonna make a ton of money.
And their last 3 have not, or last 2. But I don't know.
Did they Venom 2 make money?
Yeah, but Morbius was. Didn't they have another one that I'm missing, or was it just Morbius?
Just
Morbius. I thought Morbius was a good movie.
Venom 2 made money, but it didn't make Marvel money. And Morbius was not a good movie.
God damn it. I liked it a lot. It was a great vampire movie.
It's Morbin time.
All right, next up. Uncharted producer shares hopeful update on sequel.
Go ahead, Lance.
I like the Uncharted movie, even though it seems like a ripoff of National Treasure and Tomb Raider. But Uncharted is one of my favorite games series. What is there? 4 of them, I think.
5.
Is there 5? Oh, include the one with the 2 women.
Yes.
Yeah. But I feel like the one thing that this movie had going against it is their casting choices. I don't think Mark Wahlberg or Tom Holland should have been involved in this movie. Mark Wahlberg was only involved because they said, "Hey, we want you to play Nathan Drake," and then he aged out of it.
Yeah, I didn't buy Mark Wahlberg as Sully, and I did not buy Tom Holland as Nathan Drake.
But Mark Wahlberg is the biggest offender.
They should have just gotten, who everybody wanted.
Nathan Fillion.
Yep.
He's too old.
No, but that Sully is old.
Oh, to play Sully. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Tom Holland has anything going for him besides Spider-Man.
Joe's Doolin said Uncharted was an okay sit at home and watch movie. I agree with that. It was not a go to the theater, spend $10 and watch movie.
Yeah, I hope they really improve the second one. Have you seen The Crowded Room, Bruce?
No.
I really enjoyed that one. It's on Apple TV. And that's Sydney Sweeney.
Is that
and
the
Tom
one
Holland.
with all the memes?
The memes?
Yes.
I don't know.
It's the bathroom scene with Tom Holland being a bottom.
Oh, yeah. It's based on this guy that was arrested in like the 80s and had like 13 different personalities, Billy something.
Oh, wow.
But I saw the documentary on Netflix on it like 2 years ago, and the show's pretty good. My wife got really into it, so
Nice.
And she never gets into anything. So
Joe's Doolin is asking you to clarify that comment: bottom or power bottom?
Oh, he was getting railed.
Yeah, power bottom.
Yeah,
He needed poppers for that pound.
It's a pretty like, yeah, he looks like he's in pain.
Yeah. He'll need a wheelchair after that one.
Did you guys ever see the lip syncing thing that he did where he's dressed up as Rihanna?
Yeah, that was
Yes.
great.
He's like in that same outfit. It's like identical. All right, continue. Adam Driver to meet with Marvel Studios once the strikes are over. I am so fucking done with Fantastic Four.
It just seems like this casting, like we haven't even gotten anywhere. We're not going to because of the writers and actors strike. But it's like he's there and then he's out, and now it's like, well, maybe I'm gonna come back in, and he's like, well, no, I'm out because I can't connect with this character as it is in the script. And then Marvel's like, well, once we can talk to you, why don't you come on back and tell us what your concerns are so we can rewrite it again.
Well, apparently he got a new script.
Mm.
That's what it said. The role of Reed Richards in the upcoming Fantastic Four reboot is still up for grabs, but Adam Driver reportedly rejoined the short list of prospective casting as the actor is called in to read the new script of the film. See, how many rewrites is this shit going to go through? I don't know. I'm just so done with all the casting rumors and stuff. Like, we should have found something out a year ago, and then we should have found something out at this last SDCC. And
The sad part is we probably would have if the strike wouldn't have happened.
well, it doesn't sound like it. They don't even have people cast.
Oh, I think they would have been farther along. I think that the strike really, they saw the strike coming. The writing was on the wall, so they really like just pulled things back before it got to that point.
And if the script needs to be rewritten, nobody can write it right now.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're just going to be even waiting longer. It's just fucking stupid. I'm just done. And Fantastic Four is like as far as superhero characters, like they're one of my favorite like superheroes,
And
specifically the Thing, and I'm just over it.
what I got a question is the writer's been on strike since May, right? So how did he get a new script?
AI.
Probably Chat GPT for the win.
I don't know. All right, next up. Psych, Wonder Woman 3 not in development at DC Studios. So it was, then it wasn't, then it was, then it wasn't, then it was, then it wasn't.
This is becoming the biggest clusterfuck of things with that transition to James Gunn. And I kind of blame the Flash because the Flash should have been that final endpoint for this universe and ended things and transitioned it into, even if they had to do reshoots, transitioned it into the James Gunn universe. Blue Beetle feels out of place now, and I think that's kind of why they're like, oh, we're going to add Blue Beetle into this universe. But to tell everyone that we're done, we're shit-canning Gal Gadot, and then for a glimpse be like, oh, she's coming back, and now they're saying, oh no, we're not developing that movie anymore.
Which,
and that
go ahead.
James Gunn just said we'll talk about Wonder Woman later.
What I don't get is how did all this happen in the middle of a strike?
Twitter or X.
Bruce, you got any thoughts on this?
I thought that those comments were made months ago by Gal.
No, this just happened this week on Twitter with an exchange between her and James Gunn.
I could have swore that was they just brought
It's
that.
happened many times.
And I think that it wasn't. I think Gal was telling the truth, and people saying it's not in development is from a source. So I don't know. I believe Gal over some random source at the studio.
I tell you what, I hope it's her. I really do. I mean, Wonder Woman, the first one is great. The first Wonder Woman is what Captain Marvel should have been.
Go younger and get the chick who played Wonder Girl in Titans to do it.
Yeah, she's hot. I hear Alexandra Daddario is rooting for the role. So if you want a big-breasted Wonder Woman, there you go.
She's not right for the role.
I don't believe so either, but all right, next up. Deadpool 3 is reportedly no longer included in the first half of Disney's release slate. Well, duh, they're in the middle of a fucking strike.
Yeah.
Well, this got pushed, but the news now is that it's been shelved indefinitely and doesn't even have a new release date. So, I mean, does this bode well for Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool? I mean, they were already deep into filming it. So, I don't know. To me, I'm not real worried about it because I know Marvel sees this movie and they know they're going to make bank. But it's like, how long do we... Now you run the risk of how long do we wait to where people stop caring?
Well, I think this is a character that's not going to happen to. I mean, Ghostbusters Afterlife came out 20 years or 25 years after Ghostbusters 2, and people went and saw it. And that was in the middle of the pandemic. I think there's certain characters that outlive or that can last through the wait, I guess. I mean, I don't know how better to say that, but like if they came out with a Back to the Future 4 today, people would line up in droves to go see that. And it's been 30 plus years.
I just think people would line up in droves to go see it to see if Michael J. Fox shake all over the place.
No, but even if it was new actors, people would still go to see it in droves.
I don't know, man.
I think there's just certain characters that just can. Or for instance, if Captain America, Chris Evans, if they announced a Captain America with Chris Evans or an Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr., that would get people to go to the movie theater.
I've never been a fan of Deadpool.
Bruce was just over here like,
I'm just a fan of Ryan Reynolds.
Bruce was like, listen, guys, I'm just gonna alienate everything.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, I love Deathstroke. I don't like Deadpool. Slade versus Wade. Just saying.
You like the Deathstroke, huh?
Yeah, I like to stroke him to death.
But aren't they like, I know Deadpool is supposed to be like a parody of Deathstroke.
Well, that's not how it started out.
But Deadpool came after, right?
Yeah, Deadpool came 19 years after Deathstroke.
He wasn't created to be a parody?
No, he was very serious when he first
No, that's not what I'm saying. Like they had Slade Wilson, they made Wade Wilson. Like the character itself wasn't a parody of himself. What I'm saying is that he was inspired by Deathstroke, right?
I just think he was just a straight ripoff.
Yeah, it's just Robbie L being Robbie L.
Yeah.
Well, I like the goofier version better than the straight-laced version.
I guess I got tired of it because he was in every book for no freaking reason. And
he still 90s. Is.
And it's like, why is he here?
Mm-hmm. Dark Ages, that event they had last year or the year before, where like the whole world's like power got shut off and they went back to like olden times because that new like Celestial or whatever came out, and he just shows up in like issue 3 or 4 for no reason. It's like, all right, but I agree with you. I'm not a big Deadpool guy myself. I enjoyed the movies, but I'm not a, I'm just out to buy Deadpool shit.
I'm just still baffled how they still give Liefeld a pen for anything.
I'm all right with him having a pen. It's more like a pencil and marker. Like he can write, but I don't want to see him draw.
Just don't ask him to draw hands
or feet
or
faces.
I'm just really interested to see the MCU's first foray into an R-rated territory. I want to see what that's like, and I want to see how they handle. I mean, this is like the only character that they're saying, hey, all that the first 2 movies were canon and we're continuing that story, but now in the MCU. Well, like, I want to see how they handle that,
because they basically got handed a script, Ryan Reynolds or the writers for Deadpool 2, writing themselves into like, where he gets, we're writing it to where he gets Cable's time watch and he can go wherever he wants. Just
Gosh.
open the door for him.
Please no.
Please know what.
We don't need Deadpool hopping around time.
Well, that's what the next movie is pretty much gonna be. That's the only way Wolverine can come back. But
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. All right, so that brings us to, we went a couple times, but they do on Part of the Interruption too, so who the fuck cares? Next we're going to talk about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. All right, Bruce, you had a chance to see this, right?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Haven't seen it?
No, I'll probably wait for it to come out on streaming. I'm not a big fan of Turtles.
Oh no.
I love the Turtle games for like the arcade games and Turtles in Time and Shredder's Revenge, but in the '90s cartoon. But I haven't really watched Turtles, any of the other series.
Can I ask how old you are?
God damn it.
He's too old for you.
No, I just want to know. I find, because our friend Jay, who's 48, he's not a big Turtle fan either, and I think there's a generational thing here.
47.
So he's
Yes.
48. You're 47. Matt and I are big Turtle fans. I'm 38. Matt, you're 38 too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It falls right in the middle of our childhood. So I think that's a very clear
Yeah, but
there's a very clear line there.
I spent so much money playing that stupid 4-player Turtle game in high school. It was insane.
Turtles
Yeah,
in Time.
and I'm not saying you're immune to the turtle. What I'm saying though is that we have an affinity for it because we watched the cartoon and stuff growing up. You might have aged out of the cartoon at that time. Would you agree with that?
When was the next series after the original '90s series?
See, and I aged out at that time when it was more anime.
Uh-huh.
I didn't really watch that.
It depends on, like, there's like the next mutation where you got Venus de Milo and they were like,
well, those are the live action ones, right?
Yeah.
The Nickelodeon anime show where they were big, like hulking monsters, came out a few years after. I'm pretty sure.
Well, then they had the relaunch of in 2012 the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Well, I guess I missed.
No, it was before 2012.
I think I missed a lot of the Turtle series because I was actually out clubbing a lot in the late '90s, early 2000s, and then
they've all just been Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles up until the Rise, which is the abomination we have now.
Yeah, I hate Rise.
But I love Avatar and everything. I don't know. It's just something about the Turtles. I can't get back into it.
So the second animated series came out in 2003 when I had graduated high school.
Me too.
So I have an affinity for the original series and the first two live action movies because that was my childhood. I mean, the live action movie came out in what, 90?
Yes.
And then the second one was 91 or 92.
I want to say 92.
So I was 7 when the second one came out. And it fit my demographic right there. So Jay is a big fan of like Transformers, which I'm not. Transformers was before me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I always thought Transformers were stupid.
Blasphemy.
But you see, and you're a Transformers fan, right?
Yes. Beast Wars. Yeah. I've seen every Japanese version of the Transformers.
Oh, Beast Wars,
Headmasters, Victory, all of them.
Yeah, I didn't grow up watching Transformers or G.I. Joe. I know Jay's a big G.I. Joe fan.
Oh, I love G.I. Joe too, man.
But I'm also a big anime fan.
Which you might like the second. You might like the second animated series of Ninja Turtles. because that one's very anime. Speaking of anime, Bruce, you should check out the new Superman anime. That's on HBO Max.
Oh, I'm sure he's watching.
Yeah,
it.
I've been watching it. I just
My
got to
friend
catch up.
Superman.
I liked it. Did you like it?
Yeah, it's good. I like the way the way the art style for my Adventures with Superman? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
the art style. And God, Lois Lane is a bitch. I love it.
Yeah, I like that show a lot. But I'm not a big anime fan, but I like that show. But well, Matt, what are your, how do you want to start this? I know
Give us a synopsis of the movie.
A synopsis. Well, you got 4 turtles. They come in contact with ooze. Splinter finds them. He also comes in contact with ooze, and they're just trying to find their way through life. Essentially, it's less of a ninja style movie and more of a coming of age style movie, where the 1990 film was very coming of age, or was very ninja-esque, and this is more about, you could put 4 teenagers in this and the movie would still make sense, right? Like, not turtles. But it really, like, there's not much to know. They come in contact with ooze, they become mutant, then they discover there's other mutants, and that's pretty much the synopsis ish. I mean, how much more do you say without that?
Well, we can get into spoiling it if
Well, I know, but as far as the synopsis ish is concerned.
Well, I would say, like, so Baxter Stockman is creating mutants to help basically be that family he never had.
Yeah.
And he is being hunted by TCRI, the big corporation. He gets basically taken out, and then we do a 15-year time jump where we see the turtles as young teenagers trying to find their way in a world that has basically shunned their leader and that they're being protected from. Then Baxter Stockman's creation of Superfly is out there running amok, trying to finish his father's work and create other mutants to destroy humanity. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Solid.
So I have a few. Let me first start by saying that I liked this. It was better than I thought it would be, especially when the last 3 or 4 iterations of the Turtles have been so bad. And I'm speaking of Rise and the Michael Bay movies specifically. So I was surprised of how well it was handled. I think Seth Rogen did a very good job. I'm not sure if he wrote it though, did he? Or was he just a producer?
He did do rewrites on it.
Him and Evan Goldberg?
Yeah, so they do get writing credits.
So you can definitely feel his sense of humor in this. Like, if you're a fan of Superbad or any of those Seth Rogen movies, he definitely has his flavor of humor in it. For instance, a big plot point is April O'Neil puking on TV. That's definitely a Seth Rogen trope. Anything having to do with puke or wieners or poop or whatever.
So I say wieners?
Well, I was trying to make it sound adolescent on purpose. Because wiener is a funnier word than dick. But my issue with it is that he kind of deconstructs what makes the turtles, right? So in this, their big thing throughout the film, the 4 turtles want to go to high school like normal kids. And I get it. Every kid goes through that. But and that's basically the premise of the whole movie, is them trying to be accepted and want just to go to high school, essentially. But by doing that, and ultimately at the end of the movie, they end up going to high school and they're accepted. By doing that, you lose the whole ninja thing completely. Now they're just karate kids. because ninjas fight in the shadows. Ninjas are secretive. Ninjas are, they're not to be seen. Now you just put them in high school. Everybody knows who the fuck they are. They're not ninjas. So that was one issue I had. And Matt, you brought that up too, right? You said essentially the whole movie is them trying to get to high school. He saw it before I did.
Their whole premise is to be accepted by the topside world so that they can go to high school. Like,
yeah,
most teenagers are trying to get away from high school. They want to go to high school.
Not, I would say most teenagers, yes, they're trying to get away from high school, but they are grappling with the same issues, the acceptance thing. And that's the reason they want to get away from high school, right? Is that most teenagers feel like an alien in their own skin. Most teenagers feel unaccepted. And you see some of these kids that graduate high school and they were kings of the campus, right? And you see them as adults and they long to be back in high school, right? But the kids
peaked.
Yeah, they peaked in high school. But kids like myself, and I would, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming you two as well, we weren't really the popular crowd.
I was.
Were you?
Yeah.
Well, lucky Bruce. No, but I mean that's how I discovered punk rock music, was because I was ostracized by the elite in high school, and I found kids with mohawks and dressed in all black and stuff, and I discovered music that way. That's what created my love. I always had a love of music, but for that specific style of music, because it was about being not normal, right? It was the counterculture of it. So, and I think that's where that stems from, the kids trying to get away from high school. But
yeah, it's funny. The only time I ever missed a day of high school was because we had blizzards. I love high school.
Yeah, and see, you were popular in high school. I hated high school.
High school is forever.
It's funny because I was probably one of the biggest nerds, and I didn't fit in with. Well, I didn't look like a typical high school nerd. I was known as the nerd's bodyguard. Yeah,
I never had that bully. Like, I was friends with the popular kids. I just wasn't I wasn't a main part of that group, right? I was friends with everybody.
the popular kids have more issues than the ostracized fringe kids. Trust me.
Well, I know that now as an adult. I look at a lot of the popular kids, and some of them are on their third marriage or have alcohol problems or whatever else. You know what I mean? Like,
they're losers that still live in their hometown and are drug addicts.
Yeah. It's really a trope is what it is. But, and I'm not saying that that's a rule. I'm just saying that I look back and I'm like, it just serves you right. Like, you were kind of a dick. The nice ones, I have one friend from high school. His name was Brian Hurd, and he was part of that popular group. Fucking coolest guy ever. And he seems to be fucking being a rock star at life. And he's a likable guy, and he's nice, and couldn't happen to a better guy. Kind of sucks though. He's popular in high school and he's making a killing as an an adult. Like, and he's good looking and he's funny. No, I forget where we're
your
going.
Popularity plane.
So, all right. So that was one thing I had issue with as far as story is concerned. The other thing I had issue with is the complete change of Splinter's backstory. Now, I got in an argument with somebody on TikTok because they're like, no, it's more like the comics than anything else, than any of the cartoons or anything. And he was harping on the fact that in the cartoons, he's a human that comes in contact with the ooze and turns into a rat. That's not what the comics were like. The comics, he is the pet of Yoshi. He's a rat. He's the pet of Yoshi. The 1990 film, I think, got it the most correct. Right, Matt? In this, he comes in he's just a New York rat. He has no connection to Japan or to Yoshi or anything. He's just a normal rat that comes in contact with the ooze when the turtles do, becomes large, and learns the art of ninjutsu with the turtles at the same time. So
through
this
YouTube videos.
through YouTube videos, nevertheless. But
That's
so
funny.
it is funny, but it brings up a few questions about the future of this franchise, right? First of all, how is he supposed to be a sensei if he learned at the same time as them, right? How's he supposed to be a sensei? And they don't ever call him sensei. They only call him dad or father or whatever in this. So maybe that's their thing. The other thing is now, because he was a pet of Yoshi in the original comics, what is his reason for fighting Shredder, or what's Shredder's reason for beginning? And at the end of this movie, they tease Shredder. They show you his back, but they basically make him a hunter now, which loses any weight to that relationship between Shredder and Splinter. It makes him much less of this long-running bad guy that he could be. They could be the bane of their existence for 5 movies or whatever. Now he's, because he's just a hunter, he kind of turns into the hero or villain of the week, essentially. I just think it diminishes Shredder by not having this decades-long feud with Yoshi or with Splinter. So I feel like that was short-sighted. Matt, would you agree?
Yeah, since I made all those points to you and then just used them. Son of a bitch.
Dude, I told you that when I saw the sneak preview and the fucking
No. I
SDCC.
told you that.
No, fuck
I told
you.
you that after I saw the press screening.
Yeah,
on the
you
Monday
repeated
before.
what I said in
Nah,
San
nah,
Diego
nah.
2 weeks before.
No.
Dude,
Chat,
I
who do
told
you believe?
No. Anyways,
You
I mean, I agree
fucker,
with you.
dude.
There are. All right. As I get older in this fandom, I accept that these franchises are going to evolve and change, and they're not always going to be what they were when they first came out when we were kids, and how we remember them and how we want them to be. But there's parts of origin stories you can change, and I feel like there are parts of origin stories that are fundamentally important. They're the pillars, the load-bearing pillars of a franchise. And you can have the change of Splinter being a pet rat versus Splinter being Yoshi himself, who is shunned and comes in contact with rats in the ooze, like the cartoon. His relationship with Shredder is one of those pivotal, load-bearing, fundamental building blocks that make the Ninja Turtles what they are. So to take the stance this movie did, where he's just he basically, this movie turned Shredder into a bitch. I mean, not Shredder, but Splinter into a bitch. He's a whining, sniveling little bitch. And you took him from this ninja master who taught the turtles, the art of ninjutsu, to be able to, disguise themselves from the outside world. And now you fundamentally do it through YouTube videos and tutorials because you're scared of people, because you've been shunned, because you took them up to the street level, and people wanted to kill you because you were a rat man. Like, it really makes it to where Splinter taught them this out of his own fear. And Lance is right. There's no reason for him to call Master. So this movie really goes and destroys that load-bearing relationship, because it makes the Shredder, like Lance said, obsolete. So now he's just a hitman, so to speak, for TCRI. And they ruin Bebop and Rocksteady in this movie. Like the voice cast in this movie is phenomenal. All right, the voice cast is phenomenal. They all do a great job. Giancarlo Esposito as Baxter Stockman was awesome. Fucking Post Malone as Ray Fillet was awesome.
Paul Rudd
as Mondo Gecko was awesome. Like the whole voice cast was phenomenal in this
Even
movie.
the one that I was nervous about, Donatello, because he sounds like a 7-year-old,
yeah.
fit.
But my gripe here is you go back to the original 90s movie, and I've said this before. I want to know how they got the money to buy pizza in the sewers, right? Now I want to know, how do they get the money to keep their cell phone plans activated?
Yeah.
Because they're walking around with cell phones. And who are they texting? They don't know anybody. So why do they have cell phones? To text each other, I guess? The text splinter? Like, I don't know. This movie.
My son asked me that. And so I had to come up with something really quick. I was like, well, they're probably on Facebook or Instagram and made fake profiles that are humans. And they're messaging people on there.
Well, that's plausible. Catfish. They're catfishes, right?
Yeah, I had to come up with something real quick because he was quickly finding flaws in the story. And he's 9. So I was pretty impressed for a 9-year-old to find flaws in this story. But continue, Matt. I'm sorry.
I had this discussion with my brother-in-law that, Michelangelo isn't that like goofy, silly, funny character like we've come to know. And he made the point of, oh, well, it's they're younger teens. Maybe he just hasn't grown into that persona yet.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll give you that. But
well, he does. They do establish in the movie that he wants to be like a comedian,
a method actor, yes, or not
improvisation. Yes. So he'll eventually grow into that. But the most laughs come from Donatello and Raph, I would say.
Yeah, like my favorite part of the movie is when they're stealing the van from Superfly's thugs, and Superfly breaks into the van and he starts beating Donatello, and he's beating up Donatello. He's like, "Oh no, he's whomping me," and I'm like, I laugh at that every time. And it's like, "Oh no, he's beating you," and "Oh no, now he's beating me," and it's like, I don't know. I don't do it justice, but it's still funny. Like Ice Cube with Superfly was good. The animation in this movie is phenomenal. It really is. I wasn't the biggest fan of the direction and change of April O'Neil. Like, if you want to make her assassin, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of that. I don't understand the direction that they want to take April O'Neil in these newer iterations of the movies. But I enjoyed it for what it is. And I'm interested to see where they go with this. I really believe that Krang is hiding in plain sight in this movie, considering TCRI is Techno Cosmic Research Institute that is connected to Krang and the Krangs. He's kind of hiding in plain sight in this movie. I thought it was real interesting that they already announced a sequel and spin-offs before the first one even came out.
Well, they announced the show. They announced that show like 6 months ago, but the fact that the sequel's already been greenlit is telling.
But what this made me really want is, I went and rewatched the original movie the other day. This movie, that the 90s original, is still top notch for me, and this is probably second. It makes me want that last Ronin movie. Give the fans, the older fans that grew up on this, something. Acknowledge us. Like, this movie does a good job of bridging the gap and saying, okay, we know we have these older fans and now they have kids and they will enjoy this together. And that's great. But give that, I just want the older fans to get that little bit of love, man, that little rub. And I want to see a last Ronin movie. I want the original April O'Neil to come back to play April O'Neil in that live action, original Jim Henson puppet suits, the original Michelangelo. Give us that 90s fucking last Ronin, dude. Just give that rub to the people who grew up on this franchise. Just give us that rub. That's all I want.
So can I say something that was a big issue of mine with Rise of the Ninja Turtles and the Michael Bay movies? Some I brought up several times.
Sure.
And something they improved a little bit on this one, the character design, right? In the Michael Bay movies, they make Michelangelo the surfer dude, give him puka shells and all this other shit. Like, It's so over the top. It's stupid. They Leonardo has like the bamboo armor or whatever on his front. Like, it's just dumb character choices. But ever since those Michael Bay movies and the Rise things, for some reason, they give Donatello glasses or like night vision goggles and shit. He's a fucking mutant. Why the fuck does he need glasses?
Because they're all old whites writing these stories, and they think that nerd, equals glasses.
It's so fucking stupid. And here's the other thing. I don't know if any of you noticed this. Michelangelo has braces.
Yes, I did notice that.
Where the fuck did he get braces? If they don't talk to humans, why does he have
watch
braces?
the how-to YouTube video on to put braces on?
Jerry Rig from Garbage.
Yeah.
And then never mind the fact that they're giant turtles. Why the fuck do they need straight teeth?
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no, like,
I'm pretty sure turtles don't have teeth at all.
Do they not?
I don't think so.
Interesting.
I mean, I don't know.
So just little design choices like that are just unnecessary. The glasses on Donna, the headphones around the neck, that's fine. But like, it's just so
they don't have turtles. They have a beak.
It's so stereotypical that a nerd has fucking black rimmed glasses. He's a mutant. Why the fuck does he need glasses? It just makes no sense to me. I just don't understand. Like, this movie, the design would have been perfect if they just would have played it a little closer to the original cartoons that we all know. Like, just give them all different color bandanas. Fucking, you can make them different species. I think in this one they're different species, right?
They don't establish that, but
I mean, they're all different colors and shit, so they must.
Yeah,
be.
They're just different sizes, and like, they're not supposed to be, because they're all supposed to be from the same litter.
Yeah.
So
in the Rise, they make them like, I want to say Raphael's like a snapdragon.
Yeah, he's a snapping turtle.
They make them all different species based on their like how they are as a character. No, like a snapping turtle, they make Raphael because he's aggressive, so they make him a snapping turtle. And then Donatello is very flowy and stuff, so they make him a different kind of turtle. I don't know. What I will appreciate though.
So in Rise, Raphael is a snapping turtle, Leonardo is a red-eared slider turtle, Donatello is a soft-shelled turtle, and Michelangelo is a box turtle.
Oh, just a regular box turtle.
Mm-hmm.
But what I will appreciate is that they kept the character roles the same. Rise changes it. Raphael is the leader in Rise, and Leonardo they make very campy and kind of goofy. He kind of is more like Michelangelo than he is Leonardo. But in this movie, Leonardo's the clear, like, all the roles are clearly defined according to what they've been for decades. But back to your comment about Bebop and Rocksteady, Matt.
Yes.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, I don't understand their choice to make Bebop and Rocksteady good guys and not have a conflict with the Turtles. They're two characters that are just kind of wasted.
And I didn't like that. I would say that's one beef I had with the voice. I did not like Seth Rogen as
John Cena as Rocksteady was so
John
good.
Cena is great, but Seth Rogen, it doesn't fit.
Yeah, no,
the character at all. Seth Rogen should have been like one of the like Mondo Gecko or something like that.
No, Paul Rudd's perfect as Mondo Gecko.
No, but I'm just using him as like one of those smaller characters, like not smaller, but smaller in stature. Like when Rocksteady is it Bebop is the pig, right?
Yes,
the warthog. When Bebop speaks, you expect to have this like deep, like John Cena as Rocksteady, have this deep, like aggressive voice, and out comes like the Seth Rogen laugh or
dude,
whatever.
You did it deeper than Seth Rogen even did.
I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can.
It just
It just. But they make them fucking good guys. Those are two. Besides Shredder, Bebop and Rocksteady are two of the most recognizable turtle villains out of the entire lore.
Mm-hmm.
You have Shredder, the Foot, Krang, and Bebop and Rocksteady. That's what everybody recognizes. And I don't know.
So if you guys were to give this a rating, what would you give it a rating 1 to 10?
I sound like I'm railing on it really bad. Like
I'd give it an 8.5, honestly. My only gripe with it is the changes to Splinter and Shredder, to Splinter's backstory and his reason for creating the turtles, kind of their portrayal of April O'Neil and the Bebop and Rocksteady stuff. So otherwise, I thought I had fun watching it. I laughed through it, the whole thing.
I don't like the high school thing.
That's stupid. The whole plot of them wanting to be accepted so they could go to high school is a little dumb, and I feel like it's kind of a cop out. Yeah. But I liked all the 90s references, or not 90s, but all the current pop culture references. I liked the fact that they did the whole He-Man version of God, what song is that? What's Going On?
The He-Man the video.
Hey Ya. The Hey Ya He-Man.
Yeah, I still haven't watched.
Do you know what meme I'm talking about, Lucifer?
No.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
It's not Hey Ya.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, for He-Man?
Yeah.
No.
It's a meme. It's him and Skeletor's here.
Is it the one where Skeletor's holding He-Man?
No.
Oh.
It's probably not. Hold on, I gotta remove.
Did you share your computer audio?
That's what I was trying to do. Here, it's this.
And so I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed to get it on.
I've never seen this.
You've never seen this?
No.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
Yeah, they reference this in the movie.
This is the exact song they play.
Yeah, when you said "Hey Ya," I thought you meant Outkast.
No. This is the exact version of the song they're playing as they're chasing Superfly through the city. Like, here comes Skeletor.
Yeah, I've never.
You've never seen this?
No.
I heard some people laughing at this part, and I'm like, "What's so funny?" I didn't get it.
Oh no, it's not Skeletor. Sorry, it's good. But Skeletor is in it. He's right here.
And he prays.
Exact.
Dumb, man.
I lost it when they played it because I knew what it was and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe they're playing this.
That's funny.
But like Donatello makes references to BTS. Like Donatello's a huge anime nerd. He talks about Attack on Titan.
Oh yeah.
He's like, talks about just all kinds of anime and how he's into K-pop and BTS and like I'm okay with that. Like I said, I understand that as I get older and these properties come back for a younger generation, that they're going to evolve and change and they're going to have to. But there's just some things, like I said, that I feel are pillars that you can't change. And that's really one of them. Otherwise, I really didn't have. I really enjoyed this movie. Like the art style is literally like they took it off of doodles on the side of a notebook like you used to do in high school.
It reminds me a lot of how the original, like, obviously not as aggressive as the original Mirage comics, but very kind of messy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it reminds me of the original Mirage comics a lot in that way. In fact, I was hoping that when they were first getting their masks, that they were going to be all red for at least like one scene.
That scene at the beginning when they're doing the mission for Gogurt and they call him Batman, all of their bandanas should have been red.
Yeah.
And then when it pops back into where they have pupils, then they have the individual colored bandanas. That'd have been sick.
And make it black and white.
And so to go back to what I was saying about the Splinter thing, another thing that just popped in my head, it affects the story completely because why are they named after Renaissance painters now? You know, the whole weapons thing. So it, like, even the fact that they changed that relationship between Splinter and Shredder, you directly affect the whole reason for the Turtles being now in who they are and how they got their names and how their weapons and why they're trained and this and that. And so it's just like that whole, I understand that they changed it to have a better flow of the story, but it really doesn't. And now it makes you wonder, like, okay, why do they have these colored bandanas? Why are they named how they are? You know, they don't touch on any of that. So
why did they practice ninjutsu? Ninjutsu's not even
to protect themselves.
No, but it's not even like a popular form of, like, everybody's learned like Muay Thai and Taekwondo and why ninjutsu. Yeah. The reason it was ninjutsu in the original is because Master Yoshi, he was a ninja.
Yeah,
and Yoshi. Splinter learns from him, and then he teaches the Turtles. But if this movie is set in current time, it would not be ninjutsu that they learned. It'd be Muay Thai, Taekwondo, or
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu
or something. So it could have just been fixed. Like, show him. You could have had him doing the same thing. Like, there's a very funny scene before he gets the ooze that he's like has a friend that's a cockroach, and then he's like, and then somebody comes by and steps on his friend. You know what I mean? And then he goes, and then I ate him. You could have fucking done that in Japan. Just do all that in Japan, and then he gets on a fucking shipping container and ends up in New York. Just do that. You don't have to change anything. Make him a pet of Yoshi, and Yoshi dies, and he lives a few years on the streets and makes friends with cockroaches. Then he gets on a boat and ends up in New York.
Well, it would make sense for him to be an outcast then, because he would be, you know,
a house
pet, and he would come from a different country, and he would have all this, you know, he wouldn't be as up. So it would be a reason for, as this movie says, all the other rats not to like him and him to be, you know, outcasted and looked at differently and shunned to the sewers. And he's just like, so it just kills me to see Splinter so afraid of everything, you know?
Yeah. And never mind the fact, if he didn't come from another country, why the fuck does he have a Chinese accent?
Right?
It's Jackie Chan. You don't get that accent living in New York.
You can.
He should
have a Chinese accent.
Yeah, you can. Actually,
have a thick, like thick New York accent. Like, hey, yo, what you turtles doing over here?
I went to school with a lot of Chinese kids that were born here, and they had a thick Chinese accent because they only spoke Chinese at home.
Yeah, but they were around Chinese parents.
Yeah, true.
This guy has no affiliation with anybody from China.
He wasn't stealing food from a Chinese restaurant?
No, he's basically like Pizza Rat. That's essentially what they made him. He's the mutated version of the Pizza Rat meme. Because somehow he can always get pizza and Cool Ranch Doritos, but yeah, I don't know. But it sounds like I'm shitting all over, but I loved, like, the Turtles fan in me was happy to see them on the big screen, happy to see it in this way. The animation style was beautiful. The voice acting was great. The story was overall good. But those are just my few gripes. Just the change to Splinter's backstory and his relationship with Shredder, changing Shredder to nothing more than a glorified hitman. The
He's
small
Kraven.
changes to April O'Neil,
I feel like he's going to be Kraven.
probably. Yeah,
He just wants to hunt.
They're bringing him in to hunt turtles.
Yeah, so I don't have any problem with this movie visually. I think it's visually stunning. I don't have any problem with this movie as far as performances, except for Seth Rogen. He seems a little off. Performances are fine. I don't even have an issue with April O'Neil. I know you do, but I see her as more to the time, I guess you could say, where news anchors aren't really
a thing.
Like she's more of like social media-esque.
But it feels like they steered hard into that trope of like she's got God, what's the word I'm looking for? Anxiety.
Yeah, they kind of make her a bit of
Socially awkward, anxiety.
and stuff. And I always thought that the reason the turtles were so enamored by her in the original movie, and it never explicitly says this, but I always thought it was they saw her and saw how accepted she actually was. And that made them gravitate to her even more because she's accepted socially and accepted even publicly. I mean, she's a
Public figure.
She's a public figure in the live action movies. So in this movie, they bring her down more to the turtles level where she should have been elevated, and that's what makes them gravitate towards her. Like she's the same age as them. They both go to high school together now. In the live action movies, she's a little bit older than the turtles, right?
And then you got the Michael Bay abomination where they're her pets.
What?
Well,
yeah, in the Michael Bay movies, they're her pets.
Oh, that sounds
if
horrible.
Last Ronin has anything to do about it, we'll eventually get turtles that are
that's fine.
Pets.
They're not your core Ninja Turtles at that point. They're the next generation, so that's fine for them to be pets. But in this one, you're not like those turtles. You can create your whole new backstory and do whatever you want with them because
there's nothing
fresh territory
before it.
Right.
It's a blank slate. No, so I mean, I see where you're coming from with the April O'Neil thing. It just didn't bother me as much. The Splinter thing bothers me the most because they unravel that character. There's no. You might as well have a brand new character because that's not Splinter. Like in everything. I mean, he's kind of like he's a little bit aloof in the movie. He's not this all-knowing sensei like he is in the
bitch. They
the
turned him
original
into
cartoon.
A glorified bitch.
Yeah, he's very naive too about certain things. I mean, these boys are gone for 4 hours and like
He's on
questions.
He's on dating apps.
Yeah,
trying to find love,
which makes no sense if he hates humans.
It's very hard to find other mutants on these dating apps. And then he falls in love with Stinkbug.
So yeah, that's my biggest issue is Splinter. So if I had to rate this movie, I think Matt's being generous with 8.5. I would say more closer to like a 7, maybe 7.5, because it is very funny and it is visually appealing and the performances are good. But I just wish somebody had like people that make this. I think the issue is that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a theory is such a laughable thing. I don't think they get the seriousness that is afforded to like the Marvel movies or the DC movies. And the only thing that's ever given them that reverence is that 1990 movie. And the 1990 movie, is there anything you could complain about in that movie, Matt?
Not really.
As far as a Turtles movie, it's perfect.
Yeah.
They have
it's the closest thing to the old Mirage comic that you're going to get because they actually had a reason to have weapons. They actually used them, like Granted, they actually killed Shredder by throwing him off a roof into the back of a garbage truck. It just, it's because this franchise has always been connected to kids, and for some reason, now that Nickelodeon owns it and Paramount owns it, they're afraid to make that step to direct it towards adults because that's not where their audience is. Their audience is in kids, so they're going
Which is
to
hysterical. You know why? Because this is the same studio that owns Ren and Stimpy and Rocco's Modern Life. Rocco works at a fucking sex phone call.
And Beavis and Butthead
and Beavis and Butthead. Like MTV and Nickelodeon are the same studio.
Do you think that the choice for them to market it towards kids is because of all the toys they sell?
Yes, absolutely. Toy sales, 100%.
Well, the whole original Turtles show was created to boost toy sales.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a thing, and I forget who we talked about it with. Matt, I'm pretty sure you were in that conversation. We were talking about the Toys That Made Us on Netflix, and there's a whole Turtles episode.
Yeah.
They changed from the Mirage comics to the first animated series is so different. And the reason it's different is for toy sales. So, but they could have still made toy sales, just don't change Splinter's backstory. It almost feels to me like they think kids are stupid and they wouldn't understand that backstory. But what is so hard to understand? I don't get it.
I don't know.
I don't understand the reasoning for it. So yeah, I wish somebody would come in that actually has a reverence for or like a respect for the characters and could understand how that's just a massive mistake in changing Splinter in that way. And then you got these fans on TikTok and stuff, like they're like, oh, it was perfect. No, it fucking wasn't perfect. Like they don't even get it because none of them have ever read a Ninja Turtles comic book. Their only thing that they know is the animated series in the first 3 movies.
Well, and it doesn't have to be what the comic was.
It doesn't have to be super.
None of these really are what the comic was. Because if it was, you'd have the turtles killing people left and right. But like I said, there's just some things story wise. It would be like making a Superman movie, but Superman doesn't come from Krypton.
He comes from New Jersey.
He was just born in Smallville, and he, pulled a Saitama and did 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups, ran 10 miles and whatever that is for One Punch Man, and somehow became Superman. Like it doesn't fit. Like you need the whole Kryptonian thing blowing up the planet, his planet blowing up and being sent to Earth, and just like, it'd be like Dragon Ball Z, like Goku not being a Saiyan, just being born
Peter
on
Parker
Earth.
Not getting bit by a spider.
Yeah. It'd essentially be like Yamcha becoming like the strongest fighter in the world.
But you don't think it's a difference because those like Superman and Spider-Man, they really haven't deviated from the source material when it comes to origins. How many times has the Turtles not stuck to the original origin from the comic?
It's been ever since Nickelodeon has really taken them over, because even the original cartoon, it deviates as far as it makes them softer, right, for kids to consume. But the main, like Matt was saying, the main what was the word you used, Matt? Like these are like the tent poles of like
load bearing.
Yeah, the reason that they are for what they are pretty much remain the same. And even the anime cartoon in 2003, which I've started watching like a year or two ago, even that still has a lot of those beats that are important, right? But Rise really changed it, and Michael Bay's movies really changed it. I mean, now they're created in like a petri dish, essentially. In fact, the last scene of The Last Ronin, where where they have the dome with the turtles all within that little dome being like incubated or whatever is very reminiscent of the Michael Bay movie. That, like, when I saw that and saw them in the dome, I immediately thought of the Michael Bay movie. So there's just certain things, like they changed things in this that I'm like, okay, that's fine. They can change that. That's not important to who the character is. That just makes them more fun for kids. But the Shredder thing and Bebop and Rocksteady, like, I don't understand it. In the second movie, the second live action movie, they have Raza and
Toka and Razor.
Yeah, thank you. And
because for some reason there's some like
they wouldn't let them use Bebop and Rocksteady,
yeah,
right?
there's something that was preventing them from using Bebop and Rocksteady.
But even then, like, they're kind of stupid and stuff. Like, they're infants, I think, in the second movie. They're more like Bebop and Rocksteady than this movie has them.
Me babies. Yeah.
They probably weren't allowed to use them because of what they wanted to do with the character.
I don't know. I know that Kevin Eastman's talked about it in interviews why they weren't allowed to use Bebop and Rocksteady in those movies. But Toka and Razor were supposed to be Bebop and Rocksteady, and that's why they changed him from a rhino and a warthog to a snapping turtle and a wolf. But
yeah,
again, like I said, it other than that you can say, oh well, we changed the backstory to make it more technically sound and make the story make sense, but I think it makes less sense now because now you've taken the load-bearing wall of what makes or beam of what makes the turtles and done away with it, like I said. So now you have there's no reason for the foot. There's no, there's no connection to. That's the whole reason. Like the Shredder turned on to the turtles is because he recognizes the style of Hamato Yoshi, and that's the whole. The connection between them. It's their whole reason for being. And without, I kind of feel like without that relationship and conflict, what's the point of Shredder even being part of the Turtles?
You remember when we were talking about Spider-Man a little bit before? We were talking about Uncle Ben, and that was kind of like that.
No, I forgot.
Catalyst moment. That was that catalyst moment in his thing.
Yes.
The realization, or Shredder realizing that they are associated with his old foe is a catalyst moment for why the Turtles are. Like, it's the same. It's just, so I'm trying to put it in, like, explain it to Bruce. Like, it's the same thing. Like, you see the importance of Aunt May or Uncle Ben. It's just as important for them to have that relationship, prior relationship.
I think it would have been a better movie if they would have, instead of when Aunt May died, Peter goes all dark and starts killing people. That would have been awesome.
Well, I think it's coming. I think the next movie, because they tease the symbiote at the end, I think it's coming.
I don't think you're getting that until Secret Wars.
Maybe
they're gonna make you wait to see that payoff.
Well, that's if Tom Holland is mentally stable enough to make the next one.
He is.
Oh, he's gonna do it. They're offering so much money.
No, I'm talking about when Zendaya dumps him.
Oh, that's never gonna happen.
You don't think so?
Nah.
Dude, that dude, like, have you watched interviews with him?
No.
He talks about how he tries to stay out of Hollywood. And Zendaya has a very similar mindset of we want to perform in Hollywood, but we don't want to be of Hollywood. Those two are two peas in a pod, dude. Like,
he's gonna impregnate her.
Like, it's very admirable listening to him talk about how he doesn't want to be part of Hollywood. And it gives you a greater appreciation for him. Hollywood's fucked up, dude. Hollywood is fucked up. There's fucked up people there. But
Join
I don't
us
know.
for our next episode where Lance has a Tom Holland appreciation hour.
I do like the dude. But I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens. I'm really interested why they chose to do this. It's a 2-season, no more than 2 seasons, and it's gonna be right in between this and the next movie, like the timeline. Is what they're saying, but no more than 2 seasons. And where's it gonna be? Paramount?
Yeah, Paramount Plus.
Is it Paramount Plus?
Mm-hmm.
Paramount really needs some help, dude. That's why the Sonic show's coming out, the Knuckles show. Paramount is
They all need help. Like that's why you've got that's why you had Miss Marvel showing up on network TV, and now they're getting ready. They're gonna broadcast the Batman over 3 different channels.
The Batman with Robert Pattinson?
Yes, the Robert Pattinson Batman is going to be on 3 network channels.
Nice. I love that movie.
Yeah, that's a good one. I do like that one.
And that's why Yellowstone came to network TV.
Yellowstone started on network TV.
Yellowstone was on Paramount Network, and I think they brought it to like CBS or NBC or something like that.
Yeah, CBS.
No, Paramount Network is there. Does they have Paramount Plus and then Paramount Network?
Yes, I understand.
Paramount Plus is all the stuff that's on network TV.
Yes, but the Yellowstone started on Paramount Network, which is a premium cable channel, and now they are showing it on a basic cable channel.
There's a channel called Paramount Network?
Yes.
I didn't know that. I did not know that. I just
thought
I thought it was like on their USA network or something.
No.
Don't they own that?
Yes, but it's a Paramount Network.
Is that why they could show tits in the first season and now they can't?
Probably. But
interesting.
They put it on CBS because they're hurting with the actors and writers strike. They have no new products coming out. We're getting ready to go into prime time TV season when all the shows should be starting their new seasons, and they got nothing.
So I read an article. It was on is it CNBC? Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying that forecasts, and I don't believe this, I'm just repeating what I read. They are forecasting that within the next 3 to 4 years, Disney is going to sell their film studio to Apple TV.
I've heard that.
And that in 10 years, you're going to have 4 major networks, and that's it. Netflix, Disney, and Apple TV. The other one was Warner Brothers, and then Paramount, Peacock, and all those other ones are going to merge into one.
Which wouldn't be surprising because the whole reason these streaming services started was so people could do TV a la carte, and now it's like it's basically become television. They're constantly raising their rates every year. You're paying $20+ for the same content. It's basically become a glorified cable network.
I pay more for my streaming services than I ever did with cable.
Wow.
But that's what it was. It was Netflix, Apple TV, Amazon, and then Warner Brothers, Paramount, and Peacock were going to merge. Discovery was going to get out of the game. Realized they made a bad bet.
Yeah, but I think Discovery by itself was insanely popular.
Yeah,
it was, but they're ruining the David Zaslav, or however you say his name. He's ruining Warner Brothers.
Yeah, but
I think so.
Oh yeah,
Discovery is still going to exist as long as they keep making Deadliest Catch.
I don't think Discovery is going to sell. And what I read was Warner Brothers specifically.
But if you go to Max, there's so much content. It's insane the amount of content you get for the price.
Yeah, but they're bleeding subscribers.
I think that's because of the name change and the merger. I think next quarter they'll do better with.
I don't know. I hate the new app. New app's constantly signing me out.
Really?
The new app is constantly fucking up. The old app never did that. Like I'll be watching a show and it doesn't matter on what, like I have Roku and Google TV in my house.
It just drops.
It just drops.
Apple does that sometimes too.
Apple does do that. But I can excuse Apple because Apple costs what, $6 a month?
Something like that.
Not 17 or whatever it is. And then the other thing is sometimes I'll go into my TV, turn on Max, and it'll just start playing some random show. Like it'll have me log in and just start playing something random that I've never watched before. Like today I turned it on and Sex and the City started playing.
That means somebody else who has access to your account was watching it before you
No,
signed into
it's starting from the first second of the first episode every time.
I've never had any of that happen.
Yeah, Max, I never had issues with HBO Max, but Max. And then do you guys have to log in all the time?
No.
At least once every 2 weeks, it makes me re-log in on all my TVs.
That's weird.
Yeah, maybe it just hates me. I don't fucking know, but I never had issues with HBO Max. And they said it was going to be so much better. And I just don't believe it is.
Well,
but they lost like 60 billion or something like that in their last quarter.
I'm playing you off, Lance.
I don't know. I think the whole Warner Brothers thing is a dumpster fire, but we'll see.
Well, they've only been in charge for like a year.
Yeah, but I don't think that guy knows what he's doing.
Well, I think getting rid of all that content, they had to. It was just sitting there collecting dust. And people complained after they were taken off the platform, so nobody was watching half of that stuff.
They got rid of one that was one of their most watched shows. What was it?
Who, Max?
Max?
Yeah, Max. Oh, they removed most of Sesame Street. Let me see. They removed Aquaman, a DC movie.
They removed Aquaman.
Yep.
You sure about that?
I'm reading a list right now. It says Aquaman, King of Atlantis was removed.
I think that's an animated movie.
That's the anime.
They removed Batman Brave New World. What was it?
Brave and the Bold.
Brave and the Bold, which was one of their top watched animated shows on the service.
You know why they took those shows off, right?
Well, they're going to sell them to somebody else.
No, they're leasing them to Netflix. They're making money on those every time Netflix shows them.
It just seems to me like, why would you remove shows from your network when you're trying to bolster subscribers and sell them to a rival network?
Money.
Well, they've been sold. They're leased.
I understand that. But why would you limit the strength of your streaming network? I mean, they paid all this money for Friends and Big Bang Theory, right? Why would you limit the strength of your streaming network and sell it to a rival streaming network when it only makes you stronger to keep it in-house?
But you're going to get more eyes on it than at Netflix. You can turn a profit by leasing it to Netflix instead of you're bleeding money by it sitting on your network and nobody watching it.
Well, look at most of the shows on Apple Plus, or they're produced by Warner. Most of those shows. So Warner's
Sony
making
is
money.
a big one too.
Making money over there.
Oh, Apple TV is not Warner, it's Sony.
No, it's the Warner Brothers. Ted
Warner
Lasso's is done by Warner Brothers. Yes.
Yeah. Their biggest show is Warner Brothers.
I thought it was Sony, but that's interesting.
Yeah,
You
because
thought wrong, my friend.
you know the reason these streaming services aren't making money is because these shows are just sitting there, not being watched, not making any additional money for these networks. So
I don't know. I don't think it's a smart business. Disney keeps everything out in-house, and they're the only growing streaming network.
They're doing the same thing because they're starting to remove.
yeah, they move.
But they're
content.
not leasing it to other networks.
Yeah, they're going to throw it on ABC.
They're
They own ABC.
they're releasing stuff from Sony right now. They're releasing the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies.
No, they're leasing. They're bringing in stuff, but they're not leasing their stuff to other streaming networks.
Right, but they're leasing stuff from Sony to bring in the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, because that makes sense. They want all their Marvel stuff under one umbrella. And Sony doesn't have a streaming network. So that completely makes sense that if they're going to license their stuff, why not do it to Disney that has their character on some stuff and then not on, like Spider-Man is in all the Avengers movies, but they don't have any of the Spider-Man solo movies that they helped create.
Just like Joe says, you pay for subscriptions, not a show. All that matters to them is subscriptions.
But Max is bleeding subscribers right now.
So is Disney Plus.
I don't think
Disney Plus is Disney
lost a
Plus
lot.
saw how the password sharing crackdown on Netflix actually helped them gain subscribers, and they're saying they're going to do the same thing so that people stop sharing Disney Plus accounts and have to get their own.
Yeah, because Netflix got almost 2 million subscribers last quarter after the password sharing crackdown.
Dude, they only lost 300,000 subscribers.
Who, Disney?
Yeah.
Not
And then
if you talk about-
Disney loses 300,000 customers in US and Canada, while streaming only Hulu gains 300,000.
Well, dude, look, they're bleeding. That's why they're firing a bunch of people at ESPN. They're bleeding money in different places.
I thought they lost 2 million subscribers from India last was it the first quarter?
Yeah, it's because of Hotstar, and that's why Hulu. So Hulu and Hotstar are the same thing, but Hotstar is in the app for Disney Plus.
Joe's Doolin says Warner streaming made 50 million this quarter. Disney Plus lost 500 million this quarter.
Yeah, but that's because of their theatrical movies.
Huh?
What?
Disney Elementals.
No, it says
only
Disney
made-
Plus, not Disney. Disney Plus.
Yeah, I don't think it's from subscribers. I think it's from them spending too much on shows and not getting eyes on it.
I don't know, but this is a good spot to end it. Don't want to get in this debate. Like I said,
Twinkle, twinkle.
Now you got to keep it.
I mean, we could use this instead.
What was the one we had for Sam? Was it the toilet?
I like turtles.
So Sam once did a show. I'm not sure if it was my old podcast or this one, but where it looks like he's sitting on a toilet the entire time.
It was your old show.
Was it the old show?
Yes.
And ever since then, we were playing a toilet thing whenever he spoke.
Toilet flush, yeah. But all right, well, like I said, it'll do it. Let us know in the comments section below. What's up, I read comics. Let us know in the comment section below if you saw the new Ninja Turtles movie, what you thought of the Ninja Turtles movie. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you think we were way off base? Do you think we were right on in our critiques of it? Let us know in the comment section below. I want to thank Brucifer for joining us tonight.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Go ahead and pitch your show, your channel, Brucifer. Tell people where they can find you.
Oh, I am usually on SNS on Saturdays, which is on Renovision, and Mondays you can find me on Kingdom of Nerds, where I discuss comics, movies, and whatever is on our minds at that time. And most of the people on my show are pretty much from Renovision anyway.
Yeah.
So stop by, like a video, subscribe, and leave a comment on how bad Styx is. Thank you.
What's up, Stick?
That was timed perfectly.
Couldn't have done it better if you tried.
Well, thank
Right.
you, Bruce.
Yes. And to all of our loyal listeners, my move is done. San Diego's over. We should be back to a more regular schedule. And on that note, anybody got anything else?
Good night, Gracie.
All right. Well, I want to thank everyone in the chat. Stick Boys, I Read Comics, Joel's Doolin, the beautiful Aaron, Patrick, Sam, Derpy Entertainment, everyone who stopped in. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. And remember, if this is your first time watching this in a playback, make sure to that like and subscribe button. Make sure to check us out tomorrow night on SNS over right here and on Renovision, the multi-stream. And make sure to check out Bruce Furs on Monday night over on Kingdom of Nerds, where you may or may not see me pop up every once in a while.
Ooh.
Since I have an open invite.
Yes, you do.
But
Door's always open, not the back
yeah.
door, the door.
I don't come in the back door anyways, so it's if I'm coming at all, you're gonna know I'm there. Coming right through the front door.
Don't.
Yeah, like when you get a big gust of wind.
Yep. Because it's full of hot air. But on that note, thank you everyone for checking us out, and we'll see you guys right here next week. Same geek time, same geek channel. Have a great weekend.
All you freaks and geeks.
Come all you freaks and geeks. Let's listen to Absolute Geek. Absolute Geek. We'll go ahead and spread our cheeks. Spread the cheeks. And drink
And
some
we're for
Cosby wine.
We'll
Come
drink
on,
some
Absolute
Cosby wine. It makes me feel real fine. See you next time